Wireless will never be 100% it's gonna work because you can't control everything. You cannot control if someone happens to turn on a frequency that you're on. If that happens, you're kind of out of luck. But there are many, many, many steps you can take to make sure your odds are as high as possible.
Wireless issues, it sounds scary. And it really isn't. It's the boogeyman just because it's an unknown.
The first thing you want to do is when you're purchasing your equipment, know what areas of the country you will be in and make sure that the frequencies that you're purchasing are open in your area. And if you're a band that is from California and you're going to Grand Nationals, do your California zone and do Indianapolis and make sure that those frequencies will work everywhere you go. Shure's website has a frequency finder that's really nice. You just put in your zip code and it will tell you how many channels of each band you can fit in the zip code. And so if you want to use 8 channels, put in every zip code and pick whichever band has at least 8 channels in each one. That's kind of from the beginning. From a day-to-day perspective, again, Shure has a free program called Wireless Workbench, which allows you to use the antennas from the microphones themselves and scan the entire airwaves, and then it will help you select a frequency that is open.
The perfect level of equipment for high schools if they really want to use wireless is QLX from Shure. Having the ability to scan and use Wireless Workbench drastically increases your success rate because it gives you a sense of what the RF environment looks like. Everything below that, if you're not able to scan, I think you're kind of playing with fire a little bit. You don't have all the options that you could and should at your disposal to make sure it works 100% of the time.
We use Wireless Workbench from Shure to scan and to assign frequencies, to see what's literally in the air, if there's a TV station, if there's other frequencies being used at the site, to not be on the same frequency as the house frequency, which can cause some major problems for your programs. A lot of times if you're running 1 to 4 channels of wireless, a lot of times you're generally gonna be okay with that. We live and die by electronics. So if you're gonna use wireless, you gotta make sure you know how the equipment works, but also how to find the right frequencies, how to find clear frequencies so that your performance can have the best performance possible. The biggest thing we do is with all my groups, whether it be Carolina Crown or any of my high school groups, we always do a sound check at the top of the show in terms of during our setup to make sure we're hearing the signal coming into the console, making sure that it's all clear. And if there's something, there's interference or they accidentally do on the house frequency, there's a procedure where those performers come up and we rescan and resync, and then we get them back on the field.
Once you get to the show, you can power on, you can see if there's any interference just visually, even if you don't have Wireless Workbench. But if you're just a single band director trying to make it happen, I'd say set your frequencies beforehand, get to the show, turn everything on, make sure it works. If you need to, don't be afraid to rescan right before you go on. I tell my clients every scan is only good for that moment. If you really wanted to be on top of it, then you would scan right before you go on. You would have your soloist right by your mixer and it's all powered on at the gate and you're about to go on and you say, scan, find a new frequency, sync your pack, send your soloist on the way.
We're always running scans. We're always monitoring the RF environment. We have a dedicated person on staff there every day to make sure that everything's active and charged and monitored. We're always standing by ready, and that's not to say we don't have issues that come up, but we're able to quickly deploy secondary frequencies to protect ourselves from any kind of interference we might get.
In addition to that, working with your circuit, your show hosts, and having them tell all the groups, hey, the announcer is using this wireless mic, it's on this frequency, and then the national anthem is using this wireless mic. I think the more we can normalize that being something, just like we say, hey, park your trucks over here, park your buses over here. It's college hashes and high school hashes, and the PA mic is on 472 point whatever. That allows people to prepare and to make sure that they're as good as possible. The other thing is make sure if they have a receiver, like for a referee mic, what has happened before is people take the wireless out of the box, group 1, channel 1, it works, they don't touch it. That receiver won't show up on a scan. This trumpet mic gets picked up by the referee receiver, which is going to the entire house system. And it's just like this apocalyptic trumpet. And there's nothing you as an audio engineer can do besides tell them to turn the pack off. If the host lets you know, hey, these are the frequencies they use, you can avoid them on both sides. And then also just ask them, hey, if they're not using those, can we just turn those off just in case? It drives me nuts. They go all, sorry, that's a blooper reel.